The biggest impact too, like what this is encouraging. So we'll do like either it could be like biggest takeaway or biggest impact, how this has impacted or is like changing the way in which you are going forward and pursuing the Lord.
Biggest impacts, I have regained a lot of vision that I had lost prior to the trip. I've been by myself more or less in Iowa for a while now, not even living in the same town as Jesse anymore, live away from him now. And I had lost a lot of vision and solidity in a lot of things. So being around all of you guys, all the Kenyans, just reinvigorated a lot of that I didn't even know was missing, really. And then while I was on the trip, God started speaking to me about a much larger vision than just Kenya that I'd been asking for a while, but hadn't been receiving answers on. And then he started talking to me about that. So that was really cool as well to get that.
Nice. Caitlin, how about you?
I thought we were going the other way. That's the big.
Our screens are the same.
Yeah, I thought we were going down, up, down, up, down. Okay. I don't know. I've had a lot of time to think about this, but I think the biggest thing for me is kind of like what Ethan said, like just seeing the vision. Like I feel like God just really just grew my heart. It's a lot for like his vision, and then of course like his heart, and just seeing it like played out. I guess it just became so much clearer and like so much more beautiful. So I think that, and then also like that kind of sort of further, not necessarily confirmed, I don't know if that's the right word, but like what God has already confirmed in my heart, like about like missions and stuff. I feel like it just like further confirmed like in the future, like just like long-term missions. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. Ashlyn.
I was super spurred on by everyone on the trip for sure. I felt like I wasn't super sure like why the Lord was asking me to go, but really felt like he was. And I've gotten to spend a lot of time processing it because it also like triggered, I guess, like a lot of wrestling with things that I wrestled with over the summer when I interned with Noi. And 3 words that keep coming to mind are just dependence, discipleship, and submission. And especially dependence, just like wanting to have to depend on the Lord. Also am now running with House Church, I think. Started this morning. Noise space. I thought if I wanted to do House Church, that I was going to have to either, it looked like it was either going to be my traditional church here or online with Noi. And then just like the Lord let me wrestle with it a ton for like 2 weeks. And then it just like my A team and a couple other people essentially were like, we want to do this. Just all have the same convictions about it. So that's big. I also on the trip got to recognize that I have had a lot of fear about graduating early or about a lot of fear about graduating. So I decided to graduate early when I came back and am potentially running with some other things that the Lord might be putting at my feet. So it's been like a lot of processing, but just like keep coming back to the word submission and dependence and how can I be like the most discipled. So yeah.
That's cool. I was afraid of graduating, and so I decided to do it earlier. All right, how about you, Dan?
To Ashlyn's point, just being around all of you guys, I haven't really had community like this before. Even growing up in the church, just, you're not surrounded by a whole lot of passionate people there. So just being around you guys was really eye-opening to me. And another encouraging thing is just being in the culture of Kenya and seeing just seeing what God is doing over there was a huge eye opener as well. Especially just, yeah, I mean, I almost feel like I've lived in a box here in the US. So it was just cool to experience that and see what God's doing there.
That's cool, man. Malaya, how about you?
Yeah, so one verse in particular was Mark 7:8. You have let go of the commands of God and are holding on to human traditions. So really just asking myself, like, what is truth? And it was also big too of just finding or looking deeper into what the Bible says, and not just doing things because, oh, this is like what my parents are doing, but really seeing it modeled by Jesus. Whenever we read through like Luke 8 through 11 too, and really looked at his church and discipleship, that was huge too. I really loved that. And along with that of what is truth is like, what am I going to be passing on to my disciples too? And I want to be passing on solely truth. So also just the yeah, just being like cautious of like everything I say and everything I model, that it all aligns with the Bible.
That's cool. How about you, Noe?
Yeah, so I think what I came back with really was like, so what does my life look like? I have one life as a living sacrifice, and how can I make the most impact on lostness? And then in that, kind of with my eyes set on UPG or UUPG, we moved to New York City for that reason, but maybe I lost a little bit of that vision. But I think, not sure exactly what it looks like. I don't think this season of my life that we'll be heading overseas. But I do want to just have an impact on maybe raising up leaders to go to the 1040 window. I'm not sure exactly how that looks like though, but I really feel like that's kind of the direction it seems like the Lord's pointing us to, is just impact on lostness, and specifically UPG. I have some things I'm praying about what that might look like, but I'm not exactly 100% sure what that's going to fully look like yet though. But yeah, so just what Ben and Jack's vision of heading north where there's 0.0 Christian growth rate, and it just really impacted me in a way that I didn't know it was going to.
That's cool. You have to keep me updated on the clarity you get in that. Or how about you, Emma?
I don't know where this quote came from, nor if it's yours or not, but I heard it from you. But you said leadership development is the backbone of movement. And so I think it was really cool to just get more insight on that in Kenya and see what that really means, or get more of a feel of what that looks like. See a lot of barriers and stockages, and working through some of those was like really helpful for me. And then just prayer. That was a big takeaway coming back home, just how powerful and vital prayer is as God is building his church. But I would say those are some of the big things.
So, how about you, Madison?
My biggest takeaway was making disciples. And so even just the follow-up and how important it is. And I got to talk to several team members who actually came to faith through like more kind of like a continuous follow-up. Like they didn't come to faith like as soon as they heard the gospel, but people that shared with them kept following up with them. So that was probably my biggest takeaway. And then also not waiting for someone to pursue being discipled, but actually pursuing them like with discipleship. So those are that was my biggest takeaway, but also just so enjoyed meeting you guys and spending time with y'all. I think iron definitely sharpens iron, and I felt sharpened by you guys for sure.
Yeah, same. All right, Jackson. How about you?
um, I think it was Uncle Noy with another quote. I think it was traditional church won't accomplish the Great Commission. I think that's something you said in our kind of debrief there. And then I think, like Dan said, just the community there. I haven't had something like that at home ever. Just listening and talking to you guys was pretty cool. Then one more, I think I wrote down one more thing. Let's see, yeah, if leaders, the importance of leaders having the same mission, because if leaders' visions are different, the movement will become stagnant. I don't know, that's kind of what I wrote down too, just kind of like what Emma was saying, how important the leaders are for a movement.
Yeah, unity there, man. Solid. How about you, Dylan?
Yeah, to echo a few people here, say the biggest takeaway for me is just seeing the difference in the fertility of the soil, like totally different from America. And like what God had me take away from that the most is just seeing where he's working. And, you know, asking like, where am I going to be most effective? Then just trying to be faithful and run with it.
That's good, man. RIT. Okay. How about you, Jesse?
Yeah, there were a couple things on the trip that I just kind of got like revelations for, or just like new perspectives on. But I think the biggest impact on me was just, well, I guess I don't know what specifically it was, but the result of it was just a lot of encouragement, a lot of inspiration, and a lot of excitement just to come back here and like start working for God in my own life, and in my own community. And there's just, I think, kind of like what Ethan said, there was just like a lot of vision that he had been kind of like slacking on. And I guess that was just kind of like what was fed into my life on the trip. And I think I've started to see fruits from that as well. Like just a lot of confidence and a lot of like just, yeah, excitement and confidence to like do things. And like on the trip, like I actually trained something, like I didn't do that last trip. And so that was just the ability to see that, like, yeah, I am capable of doing these things. And like, yeah, like this is something that I'm called to do. And so just and just the readiness to put that into practice and like just do things. And like I remember my 4 Fields obedience plan. I just had so many things on that. It was kind of like a bunch of different similar things. So like it was kind of combined, but like there's just so many things on that. I'm like, I want to do things. And so, yeah, just obedience and walking in that.
Loved when we did, what'd you learn from the trip? I saw Jesse's, like the first thing was like, I could train, like a big smiley face written, a lot of exclamation marks. All right, how about you, Alex?
Yeah, so to echo everyone and Dylan, this is really an echo, but yeah, the difference in the fertility of the soil was eye-opening to me, and it made me like see that I had been like swimming upstream in some ways, like not just in like sharing the gospel, but swimming upstream in other areas of my life where I wasn't called to swim upstream. And so like I now have a reliance on God that I hadn't had before.
And then also like the simplicity in modeling things for people is significant. And then like the significance of how Jesus modeled is also like something that I and others are supposed to go after. So like in John 5:19 says, Jesus gave them this answer: very truly I tell you, the Son can do nothing by himself. He can only do what he sees the Father doing, because whatever the Father does, the Son also does. So yeah. Say that wraps up my summary.
Yeah, that's good. How about you, Trevor? How about you, Ethan Fury?
My biggest takeaway was just like it had to do with like training people, like training disciples, like making sure that they teach everything that they learn and just making sure to like teach things like very simply and focusing on simplicity and reproducibility.
Solid. Bella?
Well, my biggest takeaway was definitely just putting my trust in God, because even from before we even got to Africa, we didn't have the right COVID test, and I was like, well, guess we're not going. Like, well, that, like, great, like all that for nothing. And then, you know, we got on the plane, of course, just like how we were supposed to. And then once we were there, I was like, there's no way I can like teach these people. Like, I don't even know how to teach it myself. And then of course, like just trusting God and like practicing, and then I was able to teach in the villages and like help in the trainings, and that was just like really eye-opening, because like even like the day before we left for Africa, I was just like, there's absolutely no way, like I'm just gonna have to piggyback off like whoever else is teaching, and because like there's no way I can do it myself. But like I ended up teaching a couple of tools like by myself, which was really cool. And then again, getting home that last day was just horrible, and I really was like, I don't know, like the first time that we couldn't get on the plane, I was like, okay, from now on, like I'm totally gonna put my trust in God. And then I doubted again, like the last day, like I was like, well, we're stuck here for life, like we're never getting back. I didn't even have COVID, like I was able to leave, but I didn't want to. But like just, you know, putting your trust in God, I don't know why that was so like difficult for me to just like give in and just let him, like, I don't know, like Jesus take the wheel. That's so like old to say, but like he really did. Like that was my biggest takeaway, which I still like think of every day, just like how he really came through for so many different things that I doubted. So that was mine.
Hey, Jack, what did you share with me about St. Augustine earlier today?
Yeah, so one of his journal entries, he said there are two types of people I generally refrain from spending time with: the Christians who say, like, you've done enough of, like, you know, you've done a lot, like, go ahead and relax or whatever. And the other is those who say faith should be easy. Like it's supposed to be easy. So those are the two. Let's say you've done enough and it should be easy, because it's not. It's simple, but it's hard. So I know for me, like my biggest, like the impact is just like a reminder of why I love serving God, you know, and like why it's just like, it is so cool seeing just how he moves in people's lives, and like everyone there that we saw, and all of us too, like all these, like hearing all this stuff, like, yeah, let's go. Like, that's awesome. It's like why we just pursue God, because he really does a lot. And then another is just like thinking like how valuable, like it's so true, the harvest is plentiful, the laborers are few, and I would take like one of you over like 100 people, you know. Just like having that unity and vision in the heart and the focus. is really, really cool. Like the reminder of like, depth. We're getting sold out. We're doing this. That'll make it go far. So, all right. That was really encouraging.